The night was cold and cruel, the streets filled with shadows and the smell of burning refuse. On a forgotten corner, a boy no older than 10 lay, curled against the pavement, his body frail, his skin clinging to his bones. Passers-by glanced at him briefly, then turned away. Some were busy, some afraid, and some simply unwilling to see a life teetering on the edge of death. Then she appeared. A woman with eyes that had seen hardship but held softness for those who suffered. Her name was Amina. She carried a basket of bread she had baked to sell, barely enough to cover her rent. Yet when she saw the boy, her steps faltered. Something inside her refused to keep walking. Kneeling, she pressed her hand to his fevered forehead. He opened his eyes just enough to whisper, "Leave me. I'm nothing." Her heart ached at the words, recalling her own losses. The night she had felt invisible in the world. She smiled gently. "No one is nothing. Not while I'm here." She lifted him, though her arms trembled under his weight, and walked home through streets littered with indifference. People watched her, shaking their heads. "Why waste your time?" "He won't survive," some muttered. But she did not stop. She carried him, believing in a life he could not yet imagine. The boy's name was Kofi. In the weeks that followed, he clung to life in Amina's tiny home. The smell of herbs and boiled roots filled the air as she tended to him. Warm bread and her soft humming became the soundtrack of his nights. Slowly, color returned to his cheeks, and strength returned to his limbs. He was alive because one woman refused to turn away. Life did not get easier. Amina often went hungry so Kofi could eat. She sold her jewelry, then her furniture, until her home was almost bare. But she never regretted it. She saw the spark in his eyes, the hunger not only for food but for knowledge. He would stare at books and shop windows, tracing the words with fingers that had known cold, concrete, and empty plates. One evening, Amina handed him a torn, worn book. "Read," she said softly. "Your mind will take you further than your feet ever can." Kofi read by dim kerosene lamp, through nights when hunger gnawed at him, when fatigue threatened to claim him. He absorbed every story, every number, every lesson he could. He studied not just to survive, but to transform the life that had been gifted to him. Years passed. The boy who had almost died became a man of ambition and discipline. Amina grew older, her hair streaked with silver, her back bent from years of labor, but her heart remained full of hope for the boy she had saved. One day, Kofi left, not in anger, but with gratitude. "Mama," he said, "I will return. I will make you proud." His words carved themselves into the silence of their parting. He traveled far and wide. He carried himself through struggles that would have broken others. He studied wherever he could, worked any job that gave him a chance to learn. He crossed oceans, faced betrayal, and endured ridicule. But he never forgot Amina's words. "Your mind will take you further than your feet ever can." Then, one day, he returned. Cars gleamed under the sun. Men in suits stepped from polished vehicles, their eyes searching for someone. At the marketplace, where Amina now sold bread from her worn basket, a shadow fell across her stall. She looked up, and for a moment, her tired eyes did not recognize the tall man before her. His suit was sharp, his watch gleamed, his presence commanded attention. Dennis Smila, the same smile of the boy she had lifted from the streets years ago. Her lips trembled. "Kofi." He knelt before her, in front of a crowd that had gathered, in front of the neighbors who once whispered he was worthless. "Mama," he said, voice shaking, "I came back to keep my promise." The marketplace fell silent. People whispered, some gasped. Others lowered their heads in shame. Kofi took her hands in his. "You gave me life when no one else would. Everything I own, every success I carry, it belongs to you too." Tears ran down her face. "I never wanted riches, Kofi. I only wanted you to live." He held her tighter. "Because you wanted that, Mama, I learned the most important truth. We rise not by what we keep, but by what we give." The crowd looked on, awed and silent. Those who once mocked now felt humility and respect. One woman as compassionate raised a boy who would one day change not only his life, but the lives of many. Years later, people spoke of Kofi's wealth, but when they spoke of greatness, they spoke of Amina. She had adopted a dying boy and, without knowing it, shaped a man who would leave a legacy far beyond streets and hardship. The story lived on, a reminder that sometimes the richest hearts are not those who hold the world, but those who give it to someone else. And the most profound lesson remained. When the world passes by someone in need, one act of courage, kindness, and love can change generations. If you were touched by this story, think about how you can be the Amina in someone's life. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of compassion, resilience, and unseen heroes.